Hey everybody, welcome to Season 2 of the Author on Wheels podcast. My name is John Wood, and I am affectionately known as Author on Wheels. Join us as we have some incredible interviews with some incredible authors on the Author on Wheels podcast. Jade Voyles is a YouTuber with spina bifida. Not only does she not let spina bifida back her down from a fight, she discusses this on her YouTube channel. So join us on the Author on Wheels podcast as we sit down with Jade Voyles. Everybody, welcome back to the Author on Wheels podcast, season number 2, episode number 3. We are back with our third interview, and I'm excited. My name is John Wood, and today we are talking with another awesome friend. I'm excited about this one, guys. I told you all that we were going to do a series of update videos or update podcast interviews, but this one is going to be with a brand new person. Guys, today's visit takes place all the way in McKinney, Texas, with YouTube channel host Jade Voyles. Jade, welcome to the Author on Wheels podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Guys, a little bit of background on Jade. Jade was born with spina bifida and has a passion for telling her story. I've always told you guys on this podcast that no matter how you tell your story, that you tell it to the best of your ability, and Jade does that on her YouTube channel, guys. Jade is joining us this afternoon from her vlogging studio, and we are super excited to hear from you, Jade, and just go ahead and tell us a little bit about the journey to YouTube, and basically just go ahead and tell us your story.
So, I watched, YouTubers, growing up, and I, decided, why can't I do that? That seems like a really cool thing to do. And then I started making videos, and I fell in love with the whole process and everything.
So how long have you... Go ahead.
And just making people away, like be that middle ground kind of thing for able-bodied and disabled people.
So basically, you're an advocate for people with spina bifida, and you're teaching about it to able-bodied people. And go ahead.
Yeah, because per the internet, spina bifida is quote unquote wave, which I absolutely think is stupid.
It's a lot more known now than it was, say, when I was born, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, back in the early 90s, you had, very rarely you would have people born with SB that lived past, say, the first couple of hours or even the first couple of months of life. Now it's much more prevalent. The cure or the treatment for it is much more prevalent because you have fetal surgery, unborn fetal surgery. And that, honestly, I believe that is one of the greatest medical advancements in technology known to date, because if they had done that for me back in 94, I'd be up and walking right now. But I'm actually happy with the way I am right now, because I would not be called Author on Wheels today if I'd had the surgery.
Yeah.
So basically, when did you start your channel? And you basically answered half the question, but when did you start your channel exactly? Do you remember?
It was 2 years ago, in summertime.
I remember that. I remember looking at some of your first videos, and when I first subscribed to you, I was looking at your videos and saying, this girl really knows how to tell her story. And I was just taken aback by the way you were just like, boom, this is how we're going to do it. This is how things are going to go. And if y'all don't like it, yeah, that's it. And I like that approach, because that's the approach that everybody should have to telling their story. If you don't like my story, then go. Just get out of my way. Let me go tell my story to this group over here, and you can be over here secluded by yourself. But my goal is to let everybody be able to tell their story to the fullest extent. It doesn't matter if you use extra words or anything like that. It works.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
go ahead.
my goal with it is to show able-bodied people that we are normal people and we
Yes,
can't be walked over, and uh we're not couch potatoes like this world perceives us as.
exactly. Now, give me a little bit of a background. What are some of the highs and lows that you have found of being a YouTuber with a different ability?
um Highs is I think I think of a lot more way a lot of things to vlog about, and different locations I can vlog, and uh stories I can like do with it, and uh and with SB my brain takes longer to process stuff, so so the low is uh like I'll be in the middle of editing, and
Mm-hmm.
how I do it is I take it step by step. So I'll like upload, then edit that clips, and uploads and edit that one. Um and and sometimes it I struggle on how I want to execute it because I have like a million different ways I want it I want it to go.
Exactly. And that's just one of the things that we, as myself as a YouTuber, I also struggle with that. And I kind of take the same approach as you do, but I like to edit everything at the same time. So I'll put in all my clips into the app, and then I'll just start clicking and clicking and clicking, taking out extra space and yada 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 yada. And I'll edit a 10-minute video down into like 5 minutes, and it'll take me like 10 minutes to do it. So I like the approach. Now, do you have any lows of being a YouTuber with a disability, or did we discuss that?
Uh, I, I, uh, I just, I said it.
Okay.
It's me, having to come up with, just one idea because I wanna, because I have like a million different ways in my head where that when I wanna execute, one specific thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it like comes out of my head like a different million ways, and I can't just pick one way.
Exactly. I completely understand. It's just, I guess it's the way that our brains are wired. You know,
Yeah.
some people think our brains are wired differently because we have spina bifida or just a disability in general, but that's not the truth. I wrote all three of my books with a clear head, and if even if you didn't even know my story, you would know that I wrote that knowing that I'm not even supposed to be here right now. So I like that approach. Thank you.
No
Now,
problem.
question three is going to be the hardest one, and I put this question in here because I wanted to gauge your reaction on it and get your opinion on it. Have you ever sat down and thought maybe YouTube or what you're doing isn't for you?
Several times.
Go ahead, give us some background.
um my goal is to essentially make money and build a career out of it because I am good at it,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me happy. It's a really good coping mechanism. Um, but uh, it but people don't seem to be happy with me doing it, and I'm a really big people pleaser, so I'll do anything to make anyone happy. And so, and it hasn't been getting uh all the attention uh that my analytics say,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that's really frustrating. I'm so I've been in this back and forth of should I quit what I love doing and be miserable for the rest of my life? Oh, oh, keep on doing it and hope for the best.
And see, I like that. I like the way you said that because it's basically like it's basically like your brain is playing um racquetball with your ideas because one idea is saying, "Oh, I want to do this," or "No, I don't want to do this," and then it's just like playing racquetball, and it's like, when will it ever stop? It's like taking that. You remember that PE game or whatever at the gym where you had the ball on the string and it was on the pole and you spun it around and all that stuff. It's basically like your brain is that in a way, you know.
Exactly.
And I like that. I like that. Um, I guess you would call it anecdote, but I like that balance that we have between should I do this or should I not? It's all about free will, and as a person that's trying to tell your story, it's any way you can do it is good.
Yeah.
What is your advice for others who might want to start or who have already started a YouTube career but are not sure where to go next?
Just uh if you think of an idea and you're like, oh, this is lame, this is boring, push at it. Follow through with it. Trust me, if I'm the same way when I film, but once you in that editing process, you're gonna think of a million different things to do with it, and and the white people will follow you and wanna watch you.
I couldn't have said it any better than myself, ladies and gentlemen. This girl here is on fire. This girl is on fire. Not sponsored. Our last question, or at least my last question, that I have for you is: where can our listeners contact you about your channel?
um, you can always DM me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, or Facebook, and it's all Jade Voyles.
And guys, you can also subscribe to her YouTube channel. All of her social media links will be down in the information of this interview. I can't believe how well this interview turned out. Guys, Jade, in my opinion, you have some of the best content and editing that I've really ever seen. And you don't take any what from anybody when it comes to telling your story.
Yeah,
And I can tell you that right now. You've fought through the stigmas. You've fought so hard in the last 2 years to keep your channel where it is and to even grow it. You know, guys, I was actually very blessed to help Jade get her channel to 100 subscribers last year. And I don't remember when we did that, but we had a huge celebration after that, I believe.
I think so.
I
But
mean, go ahead.
now I am on my way to 200.
And see, that's amazing, guys. That is amazing. Somebody who has basically fought to survive, as I talk about in my book, A Fight to Survive. Jade is literally living the title of my book, A Fight to Survive. She's literally fought to survive, and she's fighting to tell her story however she can. And YouTube is the way that Jade Voyles tells her story. Now, let me ask you this as we close. ladies and gentlemen, how are you telling your story? Are you using updated modern technology? Are you writing it? Are you singing about it? Are you doing a podcast about it like I'm doing? Are you open to using a YouTube channel as a venue? How are you telling your story, ladies and gentlemen? That's my question to you. Everybody has a story to tell, and it's up to you to find the way to tell your story to the best of your ability. Like I've always said, everybody has a story to tell. You use extra words, that's okay. You're on wheels, that's okay. You sit there and make a video of yourself crying. That's telling your story. And yes, that may strike a nerve with someone, but that's just the way it is. We're all fighting to tell our story in any way possible. But guys, that's the end of this interview. I'd like to personally thank you, Jade, for coming on the Author on Wheels podcast to tell your story to people that may not know what we go through.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome to come back on at any time. Guys, thank you all for listening. This interview has been season 2, episode number 3 of the Author on Wheels podcast. Before we go, I have a question.
Okay.
How are you telling your story? In general, how are you telling your story?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, and I'm just saying it in general.
Just not hiding who I am, basically. Like, I am an alternative person, and I'm happy that way. And I literally have a vlogging setup on my wheelchair.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to a vlogger on wheels here. The woman literally has a vlogging selfie stick attached to her wheelchair for any time she can. This girl, again, is on fire. Not sponsored. Hope I don't get carded for that or whatever. But literally, Jade Voyles is a vlogger extraordinaire on wheels who wants to tell her story to anyone that'll listen. Even if she has to hog tie them and blind them. She'll listen, or they'll listen to her story. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Before we go, here's some words of advice. I tell my story on wheels. What about you? Jade, we will see you very soon, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The Author on Wheels podcast is available in many different streaming sites like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Stitcher.